Howdy y'all. We are going to make a drunk chicken. So what you're going to need is some seasoning. Now I'm using this for the first time. Beer can chicken classic seasoning. And it has some recipe suggestions and cooking instructions inside. But I've made this many times without this seasoning. This is just, I'm trying it out to see how good it is. And you'll also need a can of beer. So you can use whatever beer you like. But I particularly like this beer. This is Bud Light Chelada. It's with Clamato and lime juice. And I prefer to use it on this recipe. You're also going to need one whole chicken. Now, if you're not accustomed to dealing with a whole chicken, you need to open the packaging. And so on the packaging on this one, I saved it here so I could show you. It's a whole young chicken. It was $1.07 a pound, and this chicken was 6.24 pounds, and it cost $6.68. So sometimes people are interested in what those prices are. So here is our chicken. Sorry about that. Here's our chicken. And I have opened the packaging, and I have opened it on the inside and taken out the giblets. Now, if you're not familiar with that, these are giblets. Okay, this is the neck. This is the gizzard. This is a muscle in the chicken's neck that grinds up its food. This is the liver, and this is the heart. So these are items that you will find inside of a whole chicken if you have not ever did a whole chicken before. Sometimes they're in a package, sometimes they're just inside of there. So you get your chicken, you take out the giblets, these items here, you remove them from the chicken. Now, sometimes I use those in stock or fry them or something, but sometimes not. So now you have a chicken, and you wash this chicken inside and out really well. And you open the neck part up and you wash it through there, and you open the back part up and you wash it through there, and you make sure it is all clean, and then you dry it. So it's important that you dry it so the seasonings will stick the way that they should. Okay, so we've got our chicken, we've got our seasoning, we've got our beer. The beer can has also been washed and dried, so be sure and do that. Wash and dry your beer. I've got a little bit of this homemade pico, and it's just tomatoes, onions, jalapenos, cilantro, a little salt, and a little lime juice. So I got a little bit of that, probably, I don't know, 3/4 of a cup, something like that. And I have 2 strips of bacon that I've cut in half. And you're going to need a couple tablespoons of olive oil. And I think that's it. So we're going to start. Get that where you can see. Okay. We're going to put a couple tablespoons of olive oil in our bowl. There we go. And then we're going to get our seasoning packet out. I hope this is good. I usually use a combination of several things, like Cavender's Greek seasoning is one of my favorites. Also Tony Chachere's, although it's a little salty. They do have a lower sodium one that I like. Okay, so we have mixed our oil with our seasoning. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, so that's ready. Now what we're going to do is we're going to rub this seasoning all over this chicken. So you could use a brush or a spoon or whatever. I'm just going to use my gloved hands and just rub it all over the chicken, including some on the inside. And if you can get your fingers under the skin and put it underneath the skin of the chicken, that always adds a lot more flavor. And it kind of helps the skin, you know, kind of shrink and get thinner and crispier, and you get a better kind of taste. And that's one of the reasons you want to dry the chicken after you wash it, so that you can get a nice crispy tasting skin that will get thin and will cook up nice and crispy and delicious. So we're rubbing our seasoning all over our chicken, and we are, oh my goodness, you guys, I'm so sorry. My foot hit my tripod. Okay, so we're gonna put some on the inside as well. So we've got our chicken all seasoned. Let me rinse my hands here. Okay. Now, seasoned chicken, and I'm going to take my pico de gallo, and I'm just going to put this inside like a stuffing. And just put it all in there, just like that. Now that's about all you want to put in there, because very much more and it'll fall down in the beer can and stop up the beer can. So we're putting it down in there, and then we'll also put a little bit down in here too, just for flavor and seasoning. So if some of it gets under the skin, that's okay. It will be fine. Okay, so our chicken is all seasoned up and ready to go. I'm going to get my roasting pan. You want a good size roasting pan, and you'll probably want to lower the rack in your oven or take out the middle or the upper rack, so this will fit standing up. So you put just a little bit of beer down in there like that, and then we're just going to slide this chicken down over on the beer can and make sure and get his little legs to the front there. And sometimes it doesn't sit just right. You have to kind of help it. So you can adjust its little tail and its legs until you get it to sit properly. There we go. He's sitting properly now. And you can kind of hear that beer bubbling in there. So we've got our seasonings, we've got our beer, and on top I'm going to put a couple of strips of bacon. And I cut them in half. This is just to keep the top from burning, because it is the closest up to the heat. We'll just tuck his little neck down in like this. And this will keep it from burning, because it's going to take a while to cook. This is going to take 2 hours. We're going to cook this at about 375 to possibly 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 2 hours. And you know, always use your meat thermometer and check it and make sure it's safe and everything. So that's it. I'm going to pop that in the oven, and when it gets done, I'll be sure and make a video and show you the finished product. So thanks for joining me, and y'all have a good evening. Be sweet.